I'm Tina. I'm the painting teacher for the Rhoda Center. I teach oil paint, and today we're going to start painting, actually not painting yet, but we're going to be doing portraits, basic portraits. I will begin with sketches because it's always good to know about the structure of the face and the skull, and if you know how to draw the face when we go into doing the painting, you'll have better results. And I would like to show you how to do a face front on to start, and then we'll do one at an angle, and then I will do each of the features a couple of times. I hope that you can join me and draw along, and I will give you homework, and we'll take it from there, okay? Go in. Okay, so what you need is paper. Any kind of paper is good. I've done a few different sketches here, but you can use paper from the printer. Anything is really good. This is just basically practice. And then you need a pencil and an eraser, very simply. And we'll be doing sketches. So I will pause in between each little step so that you have time to catch up. And I hope that some of you will draw along with me when you watch this. So to start, we're going to begin with a nice circle. So we're going to begin with a basic circle. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm drawing it here. People are watching me, so I'm feeling a little bit nervous drawing my circle. And if you can make the sides come off just a little bit, because most people's faces are not all that round, but if not, that's fine too. So, okay, hopefully you're joining in with me and drawing the circle as I draw the circle. Okay, so basically this is the beginning pad, and we're doing a circle. Okay? Okay, so after you draw the circle, I want you to divide it from the top to the bottom, make a vertical line right down the center, and this is the center line down the middle of your face. Okay? And then make a horizontal line across the circle. Okay. Just a basic line. And now comes the little confusing part. It's not so bad, but you have to divide the top and the bottom into thirds, okay? So make a little mark to divide the top into three portions, three parts, and do the same thing at the bottom, okay? So this is dividing the face into different parts. So where the top line is, this is where the hairline is going to be. So draw a slightly curved line around, across the front of the face, to both sides. I like to erase the middle line. And this is the top. It almost looks like he has a cap on, okay? And then the middle line is going to be where the eyebrows are, okay? So we're going to just put general eyebrows to start. We'll fix them later. And get rid of the lines. Okay. And then we're going to count down from the eyebrows, the two marks, And this will be where the bottom of the nose is going to be. So I'm just going to make a little mark and get rid of that line. And that's where the nose is. So we have the eyebrows and we have the nose, but we don't have enough space for the mouth. So what I'm going to do, because we had actually 2 spaces from the hairline down to the eyebrows, and then we had 2 spaces from the eyebrows down to the bottom of the nose, but we only have 1 space. So we're going to add another space, or about the same amount of distance from the bottom of the circle. Okay. So then we're going to draw a little bit across, up the sides, and this is going to be the bottom of the face. Tricky, and then get rid of some of the lines, and this is where the mouth, the bottom of the lips will go here, and then we'll put the top lips. Okay. Now the one thing now that we are missing are the eyes, and most people's eyes are halfway down their head. Okay, so I want you to measure from the top to the bottom and measure halfway down. Draw a light line across, and that's where the eyes are going to go. And eyes, for a standard head, the eyes are 1 eye length apart. So when you draw them in, you're going to draw kind of an almond shape. And after we do the basic heads, we'll go into each of the features in detail so you'll know a little bit better. And put in the irises for the head, the basic nose shape. The corner of the eyes usually line up with the corners of the nose. And the eyebrows start in the same place too. So I'm going to fill them in, and I'm going to get rid of some of my extra lines so it's not too confusing. Draw a light line up the side of the nose. You don't have to. And then the philtrum under the nose to the lips. There's a little curved line under the lips. Is that okay? That's okay, everyone. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. And the ears obviously are on the side of the head. And the top of the ear starts where the eyebrow is and goes down to the bottom of the nose. And we're just making a slight indication along the side of the face that this is the ear. And then on the other side, we'll do the same thing down to the bottom of the nose. Naturally, this is a very standard basic face. Everyone's face is different. And when you change from the standard and you draw in the details of the person you're drawing, and you differ from the standard, that's exactly what makes each person look different, because we all obviously look different. Some people have bigger eyes, some people have eyes that are close together, some people have longer noses, shorter noses, big mouths. I know a lot of people have big mouths, and it's just according to that person. The corner of the mouth standard is below the center of the iris. Okay? draw in 2 lines coming from the side of the face to make the neck. And I guess we'll put in some hair. Fill it in a little bit. And this is your basic face, straight on. So I suggest in the coming weeks we're going to be doing a portrait from a photograph, that if you are a complete beginner, you should get a photo of someone with their face straight on. It's the easiest face to draw. Once you're getting into angles, things foreshorten, get smaller, other things get larger, and we want to make it as easy as possible. And I'm just adding some lines to make him look a little older. But this is your basic face. Hopefully everyone came up with the same thing. Very nice. Okay, good. Okay, that's a good first try. All right, so next we're going to do a face from a slight angle, which is a little trickier, but we're still going to start with a circle. So start with a circle. Okay. Okay. And because the face is looking to the side, we're not drawing the center line down the middle. So what we're going to do is draw a curved line down the side to kind of match. And we kind of have a crescent moon shape. We can draw the horizontal line across to the back. And this is slightly curved too. And then the tricky part, we're going to draw a circle on the side, and this will be the side of the face. So it's more like an oval than a circle. So obviously on the side of your face, it's flat, and so that's what this is, and we'll put a cross mark for the center, and that goes through the center, and that's the center of the side of the face, if that makes sense. Okay? And then we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to divide the top half into thirds, but because it's at an angle, they're not exactly the same length. Okay? So we're making 3 marks. And we'll do the same thing with the bottom. Okay, so the top again is where the hairline is. The middle line across is where the eyebrows are. And because the eyebrow to the left, or at least my left, is a little further away, it'll be a little shorter. Okay. Then we need to draw the bottom of the face. So we'll come down straight. Another pencil. And that's the bottom jaw. So I'm just going to erase this line because it's a little confusing. This is where the nose goes, so we'll draw it out because we're seeing it more from the side. And halfway between the nose and the bottom of the chin, we're going to do the mouth. The upper lip, the part of the lip that's a little further away is a little smaller, and the bigger lip, and it looks a little like maybe we should make this a little lower. And erase extra lines, and once again, that are confusing. Halfway down the head, around, a little bit at a curve, is where the eyes go. Now the nose is going to be in the way here a little bit, so we're going to draw the eye a little bit behind the nose, and then this eye is going to be further over. Philtrum. Okay, the extra. And take your time. Down a little bit more, put the side of the cheekbone so that'll come out. And put a line here and a line in the back of the head for the neck. And then we need to put in the ear, which goes behind the center line as far back. So here's the ear on the side of the face. In front of the ear. And we'll just color in the hair a little darker so it stands out. The eyebrow comes over a little bit more. Obviously, the hair is a little bit bigger than the skull, even if it's short hair. I'll bring that over. Neck. And he looks a little bit like he's looking down, but that's okay. that's the second face. These are the basic standard heads. Again, once again, everybody's face is different. Oh, okay. Some people have wider heads, some people have thinner faces, some people have longer noses, smaller mouths, bigger mouths. Everyone's a little different, and that's what makes us look individual. And if you can capture the differences from the standard face, you will be able to capture the portrait of the person that you're painting, okay? So these are the two basic heads, and now we're going to go more into detail, and we're going to start with the eye, okay? So the eye is basically an almond shape. In the corner, and as you can see, the outer side is a little rounder. Okay. So it's kind of a tricky. This side is a little rounder, and on the upper lid, it's a little bit more rounder. I guess it's more evenly rounded across the whole top. On the bottom, it goes in towards the corner of the eye because the eyeball is round, and you can see in the corner of your eye where the eyeball is. Then we're going to draw, you can usually see the bottom lid, so go along the line. Erase this, make it a little clearer. This is probably a little too long. The lower lid. Okay, and then in the center of the eye, we'll draw the iris. Now you cannot see the whole iris unless your eyes are really, really big, wide open. So you can see most of the rounded part at the bottom of the eye, but not at the top, because the upper eyelid is covering the upper part of the iris. Okay, and then we'll put in the center, which is the darkest part. Draw some lines. And across the top of the eye is the rest of the eyelid. So obviously next to the eye is the nose, so I'll put it in lightly. And usually, on most faces and portraits, the area between the nose and the eye is the darkest part of the face because it's in shadow and it's the deepest part in the face. So I'm going to just darken that a little right now. And also the part of the lid that's closest to the nose. Make a little line underneath. And because the eye is round and not flat, I'll make the outer portion of the eyelid a little darker too. I'll make it a little darker underneath the eye. And the upper part of the open eye is in shadow because of the upper eyelid. Outer portion also goes down back to the side of the face, so that's a little round and that's slightly in shadow as well. And yes! As I mentioned before, the eyebrow usually starts at the corner of the eye, so you can draw an eyebrow across, and we'll make this a female eye and make the eyebrow a little thinner or narrower and more of a curve. Okay, so the standard is it starts at the corner of the eye. If you make an angle, the highest point of the eyebrow is here, and then if you draw a line from the nose, it ends there. That's what we learned in beauty school, okay? And the last thing we're going to add is lashes. So the lashes come down over, they're actually like a curve. They come down below over the iris and go up depending on how long the lashes are, and they're curved. And we'll put some on the bottom as well. They come out in the front, and usually they're slightly curved as well. So this is a beautiful eye. See how everybody did. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. See, I'm putting in some shadows, and it makes it look more three-dimensional. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is a nose. Okay. So the nose begins with a little circle. To draw lines straight up for the side of the nose. And then in the middle, we're going to make a curved line that goes down. Darker so you can see. Okay. At the side of the nose, we'll put in the wings that come curved up and then over. And same thing on the other side. And in the center, we'll make this a little longer. And this is one of those cute little noses. So obviously the nostrils are the darkest parts. We're going to get rid of some of these lines. And on the bottom of the circle or the sphere, we're going to color that in a little bit. Shade it so it looks three-dimensional. So I'm going to shade the side of the nose, make it a little thinner. Between the nose and the mouth is what's called the philtrum. And as you get older, you get lines on the side of the nose that go down to the corner of the mouth. And that's the basic nose. Of course, once again, there are bigger noses, flatter noses. Good. Wider noses, thinner noses. Some of the noses, the bone is higher here, some of them are flatter. Also, I guess, depending on your background and the race, it changes, but everyone has a beautiful nose, and they're interesting to draw and paint. And so if you can practice them with pencil, which goes very quickly, as you can see, you'll get better once you start painting as well, because you'll understand the basic structure, and we want to make things look three-dimensional. So put some dark, a little bit more dark under the eye. Okay. So the last thing we're going to do before we put them all together is the mouth. Okay, so let's see, maybe I'll go in the back, and the mouth basically, I can see through. The mouth basically, the top of the mouth is kind of like an M shape that's spread out. Okay, again, everyone's mouth is different, but this is just your basic mouth. Is that good?
Not dark enough. need is darker.
Maybe. Can we stop and then I can sharpen the dark? Okay, so now we're going to start with the mouth. The mouth is a basic, the top of the lips are basically an M shape. But again, everybody's lips are different. These are a little bit, should be a little bit more curved up. Okay. And underneath the top line, where the two lips meet, if the mouth is closed, there's a little curve, and it goes out to the lip. So it's basically another M shape. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. And the bottom is just a curve, although sometimes they come up in the middle depending on your lips, if you have those big luscious lips. And they get pulled out a little bit to the corner. Okay? And because obviously lips are three-dimensional too, they're not just flat, between the curves, it's three-dimensional, it goes in, so you can darken them in some places. Between the two lips are the darkest. And the bottom has the lines often. Darkest would be right in the center. Just going to color them in a little bit. And usually the upper lip is darker than the bottom lip because the bottom lip sticks out and is less in shadow, where the upper lip is more in shadow, so it has a tendency to look darker. And then under the lip is a little dark. Obviously, the lips are not outlined as dark as I have them here, but I'm doing that so you can see. And the lips connect to the philtrum, which goes in, and the upper lip, above the lip, between the lip and the nose, put a shadow. The bottom of the nose is here. Okay. And then the top of the chin comes around here. Okay, so now that we've done the three features, we're not going to be doing ears today because the picture's from the front. We're going to do a face and add all the features and make them as detailed as possible. Okay. So, once again, I'm going to draw the circle for the face. Make the sides a little narrower. going to draw a vertical line down the center. And a horizontal line across the center as well. Okay. Then I'm going to divide it into thirds like we did before. The top line is the hairline. And divide the bottom into thirds from the center. The center is where the eyebrows are. Okay. So I think I'm going to cut a little bit more off the side of the face. One, two. We only have one here, so I'll add another. So this is where the bottom of the nose is. Just indicate it for now. The side comes out as wide as the eyebrows. And get rid of this line and that line. And draw a curved line, and this is the side of the jaw. Maybe I'll make it just a touch longer. Okay, and this is where the mouth is going to go. And then we're going to divide halfway down. That's, draw a line across, and that's where the eyes go. And as I mentioned before, the eyes tend to be an eye length apart. This is our basic face. And I'll draw 2 lines for the neck. Okay. So maybe I'll make this a little narrower. Looks a little bit more feminine. And we'll get rid of the forehead lines. The lines on the side. And we'll start to fill in the features. Okay, so once again, the eye is an almond shape. This part is a little rounder. On the other side, it's the same thing. Draw the eye inside. Remembering that the top of the eye is usually not seen unless the person's very, very surprised. Okay. We have the corner of the eye that's a little extended, and the edge of the eyeball is rounded here. Okay, put in the center of the iris. And some of the lines in the eye. The center is the darkest place. Okay. Then we'll add the lower eyelid. Just see a little bit. Follows the line around. And we'll add the upper eyelid. Usually comes a little straight in the middle at a curve and goes in towards the nose. We're going to do that on both sides. And I think I'm going to move the eyebrow up just a touch. Okay. Now we'll come down the side. The eye, bring this a little bit back. Coming down from the eyebrow, in between. This kind of a triangular shape, and next to the eye is the darkest area, so we're going to shade that in. As I said, usually the side of the nose is the darkest area on the face. And on the side of the face too, it should be in a little bit of shadow. Put in some eyelashes that come down in front of the eye, curved. Some lashes on the bottom eyelid. And then we'll move down the side of the face. We'll draw a little bit of a shadow under her eyes. And the corner of the wing of the nose. Comes down below. Actually, I think it looks to me a little bit higher than it should be, so I'm going to lower the nose just a little bit. Again, I'll draw the ball, and then the wings. nose down a little bit and put in the nostrils. Slight shadow underneath the nose. And we'll extend down the middle of the nose, the philtrum, which brings us to the top of the lips. We'll make that M shape. And the lips usually come out to the middle of the eye. At least that's the standard. Not everybody's eyes are like that. I mean, not everyone's mouth goes out that far, but for the standard face it does. Draw the second M underneath. And the upper mouth is darker. I think I'll bring the sides of the nose in a little bit more. Lots of times the upper lip, which I didn't mention before, seems to extend out a little bit more than the lower lip. So I won't bring the lower lip over that far. And I'll make some lines. Back to the nose. I don't want to put in a dark line on the side of the nose, which is something we often do because there's no lines on the side of the nose. But so if we can make a soft shadow, it looks a lot more natural. And when we get to oil painting, if you do the same thing, you still get the feel of three-dimensionality, but there's no stark lines. Yes, that's very good. Okay, now under the side of the face we have the cheekbone, so we're going to do a little bit of shadow on the side of each side of the face that goes in, comes up. The side of the forehead usually is a little bit more in shadow as well. There's a shadow under the lips. And I think I'll make her chin a little bit rounder. Bring it in. And then we'll just add the side of the ear on both sides. You won't really see it too much when we put in hair. Obviously below the chin, on the neck, there'll be some shadows as the neck. And this will make the chin stand out more if the neck is in shadow. Excuse me. The jaw is made of bone. You can make a stronger line so it looks a little bit more natural. We'll put some light lines from the corner of the nose down to the corner of the mouth. But if you put them in too much, you can see immediately it makes her look older. So maybe we'll take them out for the most part. And she's young again. Okay, on the side of the face. And then we'll add some hair. How are we going to do that? So we'll come up above the top of the head. Come down around. Obviously, we can do any style we like. Maybe a part here. Obviously, the hair would be darker closer to the face, and the part that goes underneath behind the neck. It's harder to see with the pencil, but when we do our next lesson and we start with paint, it'll be easier to see. This is the basic female face, as you can see. Each feature is done in the right position, which makes all the difference. If you can compare where the nose and the eyes start, or where the mouth is, how far it is up, how much space is in between. When you take a photograph and you start doing a portrait in oil, if you can look to see where all the measurements are and important points, you'll have a better portrait in the end, because your portrait will reflect the person's face that you're drawing. And last, what I do want to do, kind of for homework, I will be using this face and for our portrait next week. And what I'd like you to do, if possible, get a portrait that's straightforward, but if you can't, draw a line down the middle of the face and across to see where the different lines are. Now you can see his ears are a little higher, but things kind of curve around, they're not in straight lines. And also, if you can take old magazines and look for faces or newspaper and see where the lines are. So draw a line down the center of the face. Draw a horizontal line across. And then you will start to notice that faces are not just flat, they're three-dimensional, they curve around, and this will help you when you do drawings and paintings. And if you can, do little sketches of faces from different angles. Start with little circles and add all the features and just practice. And the more you do, the better you're going to get. Very nice, very nice. So